network was the only channel present at the GOP watch party. We had our reporter Rohit Sharma in Washington, D.C. covering the Democratic Watch Party, which is basically an official party gathering of people who come together to watch election results together. And when the leader or the party is winning or wins the 272 mark, then the leader comes out to address the people. Over here in Florida at West Palm Beach, I was there, and at the Palm Beach County Convention Center is where the GOP watch party was taking place. A very difficult one to get entry because it was last minute for us, but we finally managed it with members and friends in the Republican Hindu Coalition. And finally, after getting in, it was fantastic. You'd see only the likes of New Year's Eve in New York or Christmas parties in this part of the world where people come out so well dressed. Hotels around West Palm Beach were all booked. People had flown in, Republican Party members had flown in, Republicans had flown in from various parts of the country, and they were there ready to party. But then it did not begin like that. After long queues, security checks, because Secret Service is also factored in, all the clearances of names had to go through Secret Service. There was a VIP room, which is where most of the VIP Republican leaders and politicians were sitting, not Donald Trump, because he was still in at his residence in Mar-a-Lago, and he was with his friends and companions, which included Elon Musk, his family members, of course, and the main campaign strategists. So we knew that we're getting into a space where there'd be people who are upbeat, enthusiastic, but also nervous. So when I went in, there was food, there were drinks. There was an entire cohort of our media personnel. There was an entire setup for media to cover the event, and then music, big screens covering the elections with 3 screens of in each big screen. There were 3 screens of CNN, Fox, MSNBC going live with the numbers that were trickling in. I started speaking to people over there, a lot of them very enthusiastic, some of them very confident that Donald Trump will indeed win, but then some a little fearful and concerned that, and they came from the baggage of the last election experience. So they said that if Donald Trump does not win this time also the election would be stolen, it would be fraud. And so they were fearful of the swing states, which way the swing states would go. Initially, Donald Trump was leading, and every time a state was called, there was massive celebration. But then there were those who monitor elections very closely. And Shalabh Kumar was with me. Some others also. They said that, these are Republican states being called, so we shouldn't be that enthusiastic. They were anyway going to go to Donald Trump. And when California comes, 54 electoral votes would go to Kamala Harris. That will stack up her numbers too. So let's not look at the Republican red and the Democratic blue states. They for sure are going to go to the candidates, to the respective candidates. But it was the 7 swing states that they were carefully monitoring. So initially, the trends were in favor of Kamala Harris. There's apprehension. Then in certain places, particularly 3 important ones, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Donald Trump started taking lead. They got excited, but they went close to see what was the percentage of votes that were counted. And it was just about 19-20%. So they calmed down and said, okay, let's just wait it out. And this I'm saying when, you're seeing color, you're seeing Trump, huge Trump caps and hats, MAGA T-shirts, women holding Trump clutches, beautiful badges, and pins, so on and so forth. So they were dressed in their finery, but they were also quite nervous. And there was a moment when they thought that now they're confident, but that confidence turned into real jubilation when the Harris campaign co-founder or co-host came out, the manager, Richmond, and announced that Kamala Harris indeed was not going to address the supporters tonight. It'll be tomorrow, and that was said on Tuesday. And when that happened, everybody realized that Kamala Harris camp is nervous. The numbers have not been called, but they're not confident of a win, so they're calling it a night. There were sad scenes from the other side where the supporters of the Democratic Party were going home. Over here, meanwhile, what happened was Pennsylvania was called. And when Pennsylvania was called, you had dance, music, the works. And everybody was excited because there were just 3 more seats to go. And then Wisconsin was called, and Trump reached the 277 mark, after which most channels, these were projected wins, but most channels then started calling Trump's win. They called Trump's victory, and meanwhile, preparations were underway for Donald Trump and his team to leave Mar-a-Lago and enter the building. Over here, much excitement, all the dance. There were some women who actually were weeping. They were that emotional. And everybody kept saying that God has saved America. There was a reason why Donald Trump survived that assassination attempt. It was for this day. So a lot of excitement. We've experienced a lot of election campaigns, a lot of election wins, electoral wins, but none such as this, where they organize people to come together, watch an event, and then the leader comes himself. So when Donald Trump emerged, you should have seen the crowd. One, there was a sea of red with those MAGA caps, Make America Great Again. And then you had all of them so emotional. Donald Trump had to wait after half a sentence every time for them to continue cheering and then stopping. And once they stopped, then he continued again. But he made his point. There were big banners saying, Trump will fix it, that we will fix it. And so he came and he said the very same thing, we will fix it. That resonated. Make America Great Again resonated. And I've never seen a lot of people who looked confident and yet nervous all at the same time.
Frankly, this was, I believe, the greatest political movement of all time. There's never been anything like this in this country, and maybe beyond. And now it's going to reach a new level of importance because we're going to help our country heal. We're going to help our country heal. We have a country that needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country.
Because they thought, should the numbers not go in his favor, they were very clear that this would be election fraud yet again. No descending into chaos. There was no madness this time around. It was a clear victory. Kamala Harris has conceded defeat. But what is interesting over here is how passionate these people were. And even outside of that event, they came out passionate. They kept talking about it. Chris Tucker was there. I had a conversation with him as well. He asked about India. This was all off the record. He did not want to come on record or talk on camera. He asked about India. He said, I've seen how close President Trump and Prime Minister Modi are. He seems like a fantastic guy. And I said, yes, India is indeed enthused about a Trump victory, and it could mean great relations between the two countries. Having said that, the people over there who also wanted to know where we were from, where were we reporting, some of them coming out and saying, I love India. So a lot of connect, a lot of engagement, but also an experience to take home, because you don't experience this very often when you have the elections in the United States of America, and then being a part of a watch party where you have the entire lot of the party members there, seniors, VIP, just party workers or supporters, all of them, many of them who've flown in to Florida, and then to be a part of that magic of a win, of victory. And when you can smell it in the air, they all did. They all were celebrating it. They danced, and the entire event ended for us at around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. So that's how Super Tuesday went for me and for the India Today Network.